On a distant planet called Zoria, a great shadow loomed over the land. The sun shone brightly in the sky, but the hearts of the Zolorians were heavy with fear. An enemy known as the Krail had come, fierce and relentless. They invaded cities, destroyed homes, and took what they wanted without mercy. The beautiful planet, once full of life, was now filled with cries of despair. In the capital city, Zenthara, the leaders of Zoria gathered in a grand hall. The walls were made of shimmering crystals that sparkled in the light, but today they felt cold and lifeless. The council members looked grave as they faced a crisis like never before. They had called this urgent meeting to discuss the Krail threat, and the mood was tense. "What can we do?" asked Alara, the wise leader of Zoria. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "Our armies are no match for their strength. We have lost so many already." The other leaders nodded, their faces filled with worry. Yarek, a brave warrior, slammed his fist on the table. "We cannot give up! We must find a way to fight back. Our people are counting on us." But as they spoke, deep down, they all knew the truth. The Krail were too powerful, and their forces were overwhelming. The council members shared stories of the battles lost, of friends and family taken away. Fear gripped their hearts, and hope began to fade. Suddenly, a young advisor named Rena spoke up. "What if we reached out to other worlds? There are stories of a race called humans on a blue planet far away. They are known for their bravery and cleverness. Maybe they can help us." The room fell silent. The idea was bold and risky, but it was also a spark of hope. The leaders exchanged glances, weighing their options. They had heard tales of humans, people who fought against great odds and won. If they could convince the humans to help, perhaps they could turn the tide of the war. "Do we dare?" Alara asked, her voice soft yet firm. "What if the humans do not want to help? Or worse, what if they come here and make things worse?" Yarek shook his head. "We have no choice. We must try. If we do nothing, we will surely fall to the Krail. We owe it to our people to at least send a message." With that, the council decided to take a leap of faith. They worked quickly, crafting a message that explained their situation. It was filled with urgency and desperation, hoping to reach the humans before it was too late. As the sun set over Zenthara, casting an orange glow over the city, they prepared to send their plea into the stars. Rena stood by the communication device, her heart racing. "This is it," she thought. "This could change everything." She pressed the button, sending their message into the vastness of space, praying that anyone would hear them. Days passed, and the situation on Zoria grew worse. The Krail continued their attacks, and the people began to lose hope. The council met again, but this time their faces were filled with despair. "What if no one answers?" Alara asked, tears welling in her eyes. "What if we are truly alone?" Just as doubt began to creep in, a glimmer of light appeared on the horizon. The skies above Zoria sparkled with stars, and Rena felt a strange sensation. "We must hold on to hope," she said firmly. "The humans may be our only chance." With each passing day, the leaders continued to plan their defense against the Krail, but deep down they knew their fate rested on the distant blue planet. They could only wait and hope that the humans would answer their call before it was too late. As the night fell, the council members looked up at the stars, wishing for help. They understood that the battle ahead would be fierce, but they had taken the first step. They had reached out for help, and now they could only pray that someone was listening. Hope flickered like a candle in the darkness, a small but vital light against the encroaching shadows. On the planet Earth, life continued as usual. People went about their daily routines, unaware of the urgent plea sent from the distant world of Zoria. But deep within the heart of a military base, a team of soldiers gathered around a screen, their eyes wide with disbelief. They had received a strange message from the stars, and what they read made their hearts race. The message told a story of a planet under attack by a brutal enemy called the Krail. It described the destruction of cities and the suffering of its people. The leaders of Zoria were desperate, reaching out to Earth in hopes that humans could help them. "We must respond," said Captain Tyler, a seasoned soldier with a deep sense of duty. "They are asking for our help." "We can't ignore them!" The room buzzed with excitement and anxiety. The soldiers were both curious and apprehensive. Some had heard stories about Zoria, a planet filled with vibrant colors and unique creatures. Others knew nothing at all. The idea of helping an alien world seemed surreal. but the urgency of the message made it clear that action was needed. "Who are these Krail?" asked Sarah, a young strategist. "What kind of threat are we dealing with? Are they even capable of being stopped?" She looked at Captain Tyler, seeking answers. "We won't know until we get there," he replied. "But we have to believe in ourselves. Humans have faced great challenges before, and we have always found a way to fight back. This time will be no different." As they prepared for their journey, the team gathered equipment and weapons. They packed food and supplies, knowing they might be away for a long time. Each soldier felt a mix of excitement and fear. They were about to embark on an adventure that few could imagine. After hours of preparation, the team boarded their ship. The engines roared to life, and they soared into the sky, leaving Earth behind. As they traveled through the stars, the vastness of space surrounded them. It was a beautiful yet intimidating sight. They could see other planets and shimmering stars, but their thoughts were on the people of Zoria. "Imagine what we might find," said Jason, a young pilot, as he navigated the ship. "What if they have technology we've never seen before? What if they have incredible stories to tell?" The others nodded, their curiosity growing. The thought of meeting a new civilization was thrilling. They discussed what they might encounter: strange creatures, advanced technology, and perhaps even a new friend. After days of travel, the ship finally approached Zoria. The planet was stunning, with bright blue oceans and green landscapes dotted with colorful flowers. However, they could also see the signs of destruction, the remnants of buildings that had been destroyed by the Krail. The sight made the team's hearts heavy. They knew they had come at a crucial time. As they landed, the team stepped out of the ship. The air was fresh, but the atmosphere was tense. A group of Zolorian leaders waited to greet them, their faces a mixture of hope and anxiety. Alara, the wise leader of Zoria, stepped forward, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you for coming," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "We are in desperate need of your help. Our people are suffering, and the Krail are stronger than we imagined. Together we can turn the tide." Captain Tyler nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "We will do everything we can to help you," he assured her. "But we need to know more about the Krail and their strategies. Share with us everything you know." The council members shared their knowledge about the enemy, describing their tactics and weaknesses. The humans listened closely, taking notes and asking questions. They were determined to understand the situation fully so they could plan an effective response. As the meeting continued, the bond between the humans and the Zolorians grew stronger. They laughed at cultural differences and shared stories of their worlds. The humans felt a sense of purpose. They were not just fighting for themselves, but for a planet that had called out for help. With their spirits lifted, the two groups began to form a plan. They knew the battle ahead would be tough, but they were ready to stand together. Hope flickered brightly in their hearts, and the promise of victory seemed possible. Together, they would fight against the darkness threatening Zoria. The sun rose over Zoria, casting a warm glow across the landscape. The humans, now fully integrated into Zolorian society, prepared for their first mission together. Captain Tyler gathered his team in the main hall of the Zolorian Council. The walls shimmered with crystals, reflecting the light and filling the room with a magical atmosphere. "Today, we will conduct a scouting mission to gather information on the Krail's movements," Tyler announced, his voice steady. "This is our first step in working together. Let's show them what humans and Zolorians can achieve together." The Zolorian warriors stood tall beside the humans, their colorful armor gleaming. Alara, the wise leader, explained the plan. "We will split into small groups. Each team will cover different areas to find out where the Krail are stationed. Stay alert and be cautious. We don't want to draw their attention." As they set off, excitement filled the air. The humans had trained hard, and now it was time to put their skills to the test. The group ventured through lush forests and vibrant fields, their hearts pounding with a mix of nerves and adrenaline. During the hike, the humans marveled at Zoloria's beauty. Giant trees stretched high into the sky, their leaves sparkling like jewels. Colorful birds flew overhead, singing songs that echoed through the air. Sarah, always the observant one, pointed out a beautiful flower that glowed softly. "Look at that!" "It's amazing," she exclaimed. The Zolorians smiled, enjoying the humans' enthusiasm. "There are many wonders here," said Kale, a skilled Zolorian warrior. "We will show you more after we finish our mission." Finally, they reached a vantage point overlooking a valley. From this height, they could see a Krail encampment nestled among the trees. The sight sent a chill down their spines. The Krail were preparing for another attack, their dark figures moving about, armored and ready for battle. "We need to be careful," whispered Jason, the pilot. "We should find a way to gather more information without being seen." The group nodded, each member focused on the task ahead. They set up a small observation post, using their training to blend into the environment. As they watched, they noticed that the Krail were not as organized as they had feared. Some soldiers appeared tired and unfocused, suggesting that they had been fighting for a long time. "This could be our advantage," Alara said, a determined look in her eyes. "If we can disrupt their plans, we might stand a chance." After gathering information for hours, it was time to return to the council. As they made their way back, the team buzzed with excitement. They discussed their findings and shared ideas on how to use the information against the Krail. When they arrived at the council hall, they found the leaders waiting anxiously. Captain Tyler stepped forward, ready to share what they had learned. "The Krail are not as strong as they seem," he explained. "We saw weaknesses in their ranks. If we strike quickly and work together, we can surprise them." Alara's eyes sparkled with hope. "This is good news! We can use this information to prepare our forces and plan a counterattack." Just then, the atmosphere shifted as a loud alarm rang out. The walls of the hall trembled, and a Zalorian soldier burst in, panting. "The Krail are approaching! They found our scouts!" Fear spread through the room, but Tyler quickly regained his composure. "Everyone, stay calm. We must act now. We need to defend our people." As they rushed to prepare for battle, the humans and Zalorians worked side by side. They grabbed weapons, donned armor, and organized defenses. The tension in the air was thick, but their determination was stronger. "Let's show them what we can do," Tyler shouted, rallying everyone. "We are not just fighting for Zaloria, we are fighting for our future together." With adrenaline pumping through their veins, the humans and Zalorians positioned themselves, ready to defend the planet they now considered their own. As the ground shook beneath them, they knew this was their moment. Together, they would face the Krail and prove that hope could ignite even in the darkest hours. The first contact between their worlds had forged an unbreakable bond, and they were ready to fight for it. The air was thick with tension as the humans and Zalorians stood shoulder to shoulder, preparing for the inevitable clash with the Krail. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the battlefield. Captain Tyler scanned the horizon, his heart racing. He could see dark shapes moving in the distance, the enemy drawing closer. "Stay focused," he shouted, raising his weapon. "We fight for our worlds today. Remember our training and trust in each other." Around him, the Zalorian warriors tightened their grips on their weapons. Their colorful armor gleamed in the fading light, a stark contrast to the dark figures of the Krail. Alara stood beside Tyler, her face calm but determined. "We must hold the line," she said. "If we can push them back, we can protect our people." As the first wave of Krail soldiers charged forward, a loud roar echoed across the battlefield. The humans and Zalorians braced themselves, forming a united front. The clash of weapons filled the air, creating a chaotic symphony of battle. Tyler fought fiercely, side by side with Alara, who displayed incredible skill and agility. "Let's show them what we're made of," Tyler yelled, his voice cutting through the noise. He swung his weapon, taking down one Krail soldier after another. The Zalorians matched his intensity, their movements graceful yet powerful. But the Krail were relentless. They pushed forward, their dark forms swarming like a tide. Tyler felt a surge of fear but quickly pushed it aside. He remembered the importance of this fight, not just for Zaloria, but for all of them. As they battled, the bond between humans and Zalorians grew stronger, fueling their courage. Meanwhile, Jason and Sarah worked together, providing cover fire for their comrades. They moved swiftly, coordinating their attacks and using their surroundings to their advantage. "Watch out!" Jason shouted, pointing to a group of Krail sneaking around the left flank. "We need to stop them!" "On it!" Sarah replied, her eyes shining with determination. She aimed her weapon and fired, taking down 2 of the enemy soldiers. "We can't let them get through!" As the battle raged on, the humans and Zalorians began to push back against the Krail forces. But just when it seemed they might gain the upper hand, a massive figure emerged from the chaos. It was a Krail commander towering over the rest. His armor was black and adorned with spikes, and he wielded a massive weapon that crackled with energy. "This is not over!" The commander roared, his voice booming across the battlefield. "You will all fall before the might of the Krail." Fear rippled through the ranks, but Tyler refused to back down. "We stand together!" he shouted, rallying his team. "We will not let fear control us. We fight for our lives, for our homes." With renewed determination, the humans and Zolorians pushed toward the commander. Alara led the charge, her bravery inspiring everyone around her. "For Zoloria! For Earth!" she cried, and her voice ignited a fire in their hearts. The commander swung his weapon, sending energy blasts toward them. The ground shook with each impact, but the team pressed forward. Tyler dodged and weaved, using every ounce of skill he had to avoid the blasts. He could see Alara closing in on the commander, her eyes fierce with determination. "Let's end this!" Tyler shouted, rushing alongside her. They struck together, combining their skills in a powerful attack. The Krail commander staggered back, surprise written on his face. The united force of humans and Zolorians was proving to be stronger than he had anticipated. As the battle continued, the tide began to turn. The Krail soldiers, seeing their commander falter, hesitated. This moment of doubt spread through their ranks. Tyler seized the opportunity. "Now! Push forward!" he yelled. With a deafening roar, the humans and Zolorians charged. Together, they fought with everything they had, their spirits united. They could see victory on the horizon, and nothing could stop them now. The bond they had formed in this battle was unbreakable, and they were ready to claim their future. The battle had begun, and together they would emerge victorious. The sun rose brightly over the battlefield, casting a golden light on the aftermath of the fight. The air was filled with the sounds of victory cheers and relieved laughter. Tyler stood among his comrades, feeling a deep sense of pride. They had fought bravely, and against all odds, they had won. "Look," Sarah shouted, pointing toward the horizon. "The Krail are retreating!" The sight of the enemy fleeing filled the hearts of the humans and Zolorians with hope. The combined strength of their forces had proven stronger than the Krail's dark might. As the last remnants of the enemy disappeared into the distance, cheers erupted from every corner of the battlefield. Alara, her eyes sparkling with joy, turned to Tyler. "We did it! Together we have changed the course of our future." Her voice was filled with excitement, and Tyler could see the hope that now shone in her eyes. As they gathered to celebrate, each warrior hugged the others, sharing stories of bravery and close calls. Jason and Sarah laughed as they recounted how they had worked together to outsmart the Krail ambush. "I thought we were done for," Jason admitted, shaking his head. "But we showed them. Every moment counted," Alara said, nodding. "Your quick thinking saved many lives today. We are stronger together than we ever imagined." As the celebrations continued, the leaders of both sides gathered to discuss their next steps. Tyler and Alara sat at the front, addressing their fellow warriors and leaders. "Today is just the beginning," Tyler said, his voice steady and filled with conviction. "We have proven that humans and Zolorians can work side by side. Together we are a force to be reckoned with." Alara added, "We have shared our strength and skills. Now let us build a future together. We must prepare for any future threats and ensure that our people can live in peace." The crowd murmured in agreement, their spirits high. They all understood the importance of unity. No longer were they just two separate species. They were now allies, bound by a shared struggle and a common goal. In the days that followed, the humans and Zolorians worked hard to strengthen their alliance. They trained together, sharing their unique combat techniques and strategies. The Zolorians taught the humans about their environment and how to use it to their advantage, while the humans shared their advanced technology and knowledge of warfare. As they trained, friendships blossomed. Laughter filled the training grounds as they pushed each other to be better. Sarah found herself becoming close friends with several Zolorian warriors. They admired her bravery and her ability to adapt quickly. In return, she learned the importance of balance and patience from them. Meanwhile, Tyler and Alara worked on plans for future defenses. They envisioned a stronghold where both species could live and train together, preparing for any threats that might come their way. "We need a place that symbolizes our unity," Tyler said, sketching ideas on a large piece of parchment. "A place where both our cultures can blend." "Yes," Alara replied, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. "A place where we can celebrate our differences and learn from one another. It will be a beacon of hope for both our people." As time passed, the community began to grow. Humans and Zolorians began to settle in nearby areas, building homes and establishing families. The blending of cultures brought forth vibrant festivals filled with laughter, music, and joy. They shared their food, traditions, and stories, creating a rich tapestry of life that honored both species. One evening, under a blanket of stars, Tyler and Alara stood on a hill overlooking their growing village. The lights from the homes twinkled like stars on the ground. "This is just the beginning," Tyler said softly, his heart swelling with pride. Alara nodded, her face aglow with hope. "We have faced darkness together and emerged stronger. Now we can build a future filled with light." Together they watched as their people celebrated, knowing they had forged a new path, one filled with promise, unity, and friendship. They had turned the tide of fate, and together they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. A bright future awaited them, and they were ready to embrace it.